Welcome, everyone. My name's Ian. I serve as Northwest NWACUHO's president for now. I've got some colleagues here that I'll have them introduce themselves here just in a minute. But we're uh, here to really kind of talk about the experience of Northwest NWACUHO. And so we'll be talking about the association and kind of some of the foundational pieces of why we're set up and our goals and mission. And then we're really wanting to use the time to kind of hear from your experiences having participated in Northwest NWACUHO. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what our current strategic planning process is, where we want to go, and what you all think that the priorities should be. And then we'll be wrapping up with Jack, and he'll be able to share opportunities to get involved with committees and being able to stay engaged with the association. The webinar is being recorded. And what we will do and plan to do is during the times that folks share their personal feedback, we will stop the recording to allow for freedom to speak freely. So the recording might seem a little bit choppy in the end if you're reviewing this later, but that's the reason why. So at this point, I'm going to have my colleagues introduce themselves. Jack, do you want to start?
Absolutely. Hey, y'all. My name's Jack Van Dam. I serve as our committees director for Northwest NWACUHO and use he, him pronouns and work at Washington State University.
Great. Thanks, Jack. Megan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Lockwood. I use she, her pronouns. I serve as the communications director for Northwest NWACUHO and also work at Oregon State University.
Awesome. Junior?
Hey everyone, this is my first meeting. I am the newly elected treasurer of the Northwest NWACUHO board. I work as community director and conduct officer at Whitman College in Walla Walla.
Awesome. And then we have some wonderful participants joining us today. So I want to take an opportunity to have you all introduce yourselves as well. Just go in order of my screen. David, you want to start?
David Prenz. I'm currently at Oregon State University as assistant director for occupancy management. I'm just a member.
Matthew?
Hello, I'm Matthew Wallace. I'm from University of Washington Housing and Services.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
All right. So just kind of wanted to be able to provide some basic information about the association to kind of get folks up to speed. So if you were to visit our lovely website, we do as an association have a vision and mission statement. We are set up as a 501c3 organization, and we ultimately are focused on the housing profession. And so we go through, it's not only residence life, which is sometimes the misperception. It is all of the aspects of housing. And so that is certainly one of the things that we want to make sure folks know and understand, that there are many aspects to housing and not just the residence life focus area. We also have a tagline, enriching the housing profession. We have some core purposes, which really helps guide a lot of the things that we do and how we engage our membership. And so these are the things that if you're interested or wanting to take a look at how and kind of the philosophy of how the association is structured and operates, this is a great way to be able to do that. The other thing that we've done more recently and continue to assess and evaluate is our diversity statement. And so as diversity is not a static issue or thing, we always look to ensure that our association is meeting the needs of the diverse array of individuals that are a part of our association from Washington, Oregon, Alaska, British Columbia, and Alberta. And so it is something that we continually look at and also focus on and make sure that folks are aware. So kind of with all of that, this webinar really was designed and intended to start getting feedback from our membership. I think one of the things that the board and through board conversations over the last several months is we have opinions, we have our own experiences, we may have tangential kind of experiences or information from colleagues that we work directly with, but that's not necessarily or may not necessarily be reflective of the entire membership. So we wanted to really provide an opportunity for folks to share what their experiences have been, good, bad, and different, and allow us to kind of have a conversation around that. So at this point, I'll have Megan stop the recording. Awesome. And so wanted to share what our current strategic plan is and kind of where we came from, and then hear from you all as to where we should be going. So this is the second or third iteration of a strategic plan for the association, and the first strategic plan was a pretty comprehensive document. We hadn't done strategic planning as an association before, and the previous boards and leadership really took on a lot of work to get the association in a good spot related to strategic planning. The work that they did was a multi-page document that was very detailed, broad, very inclusive of all the different things. You know, kind of fast forward just a little bit. We had COVID and the pandemic and various other things. We also had some feedback that writing a 20-page strategic plan was maybe not the most fun part of being a part of the association. And so the board at that time really wanted to continue with strategic planning, but paring it down in an easier, more digestible process. And so what we have here is our current strategic plan, which outlines kind of what I showed before as the vision, mission, kind of our guiding principles and diversity statement. And then really looked at kind of 4 broad goals of branding, committees, membership engagement, and diversity inclusion. And then they looked at within those kind of more specific focus areas. And many of these we have done, are doing, or have completed already. And so which is great. I think that one of the things that now that we've looked at this current plan was then taking an opportunity of looking toward the future of, you know, what are going to be those foundational pieces that are going to drive the institution or the association into the future and with our next strategic plan. And so that's kind of in many ways what kind of the next part of our conversation is leading up to. So again, where we've come from, the idea was, you know, we wanted to try to find ways to engage our memberships. You see through branding committees, diversity, inclusion, it really, that membership engagement was the core of that strategic plan, and being able to support that moving forward. So with that being said, want to take an opportunity again to get your feedback, and so I'm going to ask Megan to go ahead and maybe stop sharing at this point. Awesome. So yeah, take it away, Jack.
Yeah, Ian, could you stop sharing your screen so I could see everybody's faces?
Sure.
Hey, I see everyone's faces. What's up, everyone? And so membership engagement is really like the biggest thing I try to focus on. And kind of like what David said is like really like build that community like outside of our conferences. And kind of like alluding to what Megan said and some just like national data like that Ian like in their like monthly presidents meetings see like across the country like committee engagement, membership engagement is like a little bit low. And so what we're trying to do is just like figure out ways and really figure out times for folks in our region to really have like be able to connect with one another. And so one of the things that we've done like since I've started in my position is like a monthly meeting like with like our Northwest NWACUHO like family, and so like that's like the first Monday of every month. And so like we've had kind of like mixed participation in that. And so we tried like a subcommittee model like the last 2 years with like varying levels of success. And so one thing I have been working on slightly like reimagining with our board, and I'd be curious for like David and Matthew and like Junior, since like you like are newish to our region as well, is really to kind of like reinvent a little bit like what our committee structures look like. We've tried to have like committee chairs and subcommittee chairs in the past, and like finding folks to stay for kind of like a consistent amount of time has always been a little bit of a struggle. However, like across our organization, like the folks like who are like the most like I don't know, constant like have been our board members. And so to kind of like refocus like kind of like the efforts on like having like our existing board members do kind of like lead some of like those like existing or to like lead future like committees essentially. And so what I presented to our board like in our October board meeting, there we go, was to kind of like have our board members kind of like take like that driving essentially seat, and then like provide like and also feedback that we've gotten from our members in future or in previous conversations, and I'd be curious like on y'all's thoughts and ideas. Instead of having things kind of like be like more broad and abstract like they have previously been and currently been, to really have like just like bite-sized like task focused things, because like time is like one of our most like valuable resources. And so be able to just kind of have like these bite-sized task things. And so like if people are able like, hey, like I have a couple extra hours this month to dedicate to X, Y, and Z, folks are able to help our board members out who are currently doing the majority of this work. And so for example, planning our annual conference every February, like our president and president-elect do like a lot of like that heavy lifting on that. And so if folks are interested in like the promotion, registration, like program planning, and like pre-conference activities, like those could all be tasks that people sign up for, like to help like assist our president and president-elect. Something our past president does like every fall is like award nominations, award selection. And then we also offer like a wide variety of like scholarships for both like our annual conference and for other like NWACUHO sponsored conferences. And so if folks are interested in any like one of those like tasks or areas, like they could work alongside like our past president. Dre's on this call. He's our corporate relations director. And so he like works a lot with like our like sponsors for like our organization and finding corporate sponsors to attend or to like help sponsor like our annual conference. and really help like build like that sense of community among like our corporate members as well. So to be able to kind of like work a lot like alongside Dre like on sponsored social events at the conference, but also like working hard to continue to build up. What's up, Dre? To continue to like build up like our exhibitor sponsorships and stuff as well. And then Ali, who also works at Oregon State, she is our diversity, equity, inclusion director. And so really finding ways to like get folks connected across our region and really emphasize the importance of like diversity, equity, inclusion, and be able to continue to have like find places and spaces to like really like further those conversations and discussions. And then a big conversation part of our conversation today has been like engagement and member outreach. And so working with our US and Canadian membership directors on like continuing to have like our coffee chats like on those Fridays. And like what like Junior has said, and what David has said is really try to kind of like build like that family. And so something that like if we have like the interest, like would love to start is to kind of like have like a new professional and grad engagement group that meets regularly, that like we're able to kind of like really like build like that network, build that community of like folks kind of like in similar areas like in our region. And then similarly to build like find spaces to build up like spaces for like our mid-level professionals who've been in like the profession for kind of like 5 or more years, who kind of like maybe have like some like supervision of professional staff, and create like places and spaces for like those folks to be able to have conversations. And something unique, I don't know, unique to our region, but we don't have a ton of senior housing officer engagement. And so really kind of like as part of like our strategic plan, like something like our board has been talking about is like how are ways that we can get like our senior housing officers more engaged, like in our region as well, to have them like find value, like attending like our annual conference, things like that. And then I don't know, Megan's one of the people on our board who like are the glue that hold everybody together. And so she does like a lot of like the newsletter, social media. We have like a blog opportunity that like folks like haven't been like a part of lately. But like Megan does like a whole bunch of like behind the scenes work to really like get the work that we do as a board like out for everybody to join. And so then something that also has been neat that we've brought back since COVID is we've had the last 2 years, we've had summer drive-in conferences. And so this past summer we had one in Calgary, at Mount Royal University. And the previous summer we had one at Western Washington University in Bellingham. And so folks like aren't able to attend our national conference like during the month of February if like registration costs are like a barrier to still be able to provide like extra opportunities for people to engage with our region, just like at a slightly different time. And so that with like this new reimagined structure, that would be something that I would try to continue in my role as committee director, to find institutions who are interested in hosting drive-in conferences like across our region, to be able to continue to find like speakers and content that people are interested in for our first Friday webinars. And then really trying to like restart like our mentorship program as well. And so usually kind of like around conference time in February, we ask people if like they're interested in being like mentors or mentees. And so to really find like use this conference as an opportunity to kind of like build like those like mentor and mentee relationships for the year, and be able to kind of like provide that as like an active piece of like what do members get out of being a member in Northwest NWACUHO, and be able to kind of like have that additional like mentorship opportunity. And so that's something I'm actively working on like with our board to kind of get those like committee descriptions, to get like descriptions of like the time commitments and stuff. And so my goal is to have that done in the next like 2-3 weeks, to be able to like present to our board and like formally like sign off on it, and like have that be like a new direction that like we can go down. You know, for like Junior, Matthew, David, do y'all have like thoughts on kind of like what like that idea looks like, and if like that is like a good direction to go down?
maybe I would pose like what have you all seen work really well when it comes to maybe like committee engagement or participation, whether that's with Northwest Dakota or even on your own campus? Like, how do you get folks to um, engage and like participate? Is there a particular strategy or thing that you've seen? Because I think when Jack and I have talked, is that one of the things that we've heard feedback from our current folks that have been part of committees has been um, they feel kind of overwhelmed a little bit that this when they join a committee, it's like this long, kind of year-long and or never-ending process that it's like, oh my goodness, and then it's just um, too much. Or there's just a little bit too much ambiguity of like what exactly does the collaboration committee do, right? And so with that feedback and what Jack has been doing is to trying to put some specificity with that and to help folks put kind of a time frame of, hey, if you like conference planning or the conference, like here's going to be kind of that 2-3 month window where, yeah, it's probably going to be maybe a little bit busier, but the rest of the year, like you don't, once you're done with that, you're done, right? It's kind of in some ways a check the box, like, hey, I've got this task, I can do it, I can feel a sense of accomplishment. And so I think that that's the direction that Jack has been moving toward based on some of the feedback we've seen. So
like a big challenge I don't know, in my role I face too, that I'd be interested in people's thoughts and opinions as well. Is like we have these ideas and like as a board and as an organization, we work to communicate these ideas, but really trying to get people on board, bought in, and like really like dedicate time to like these efforts and things that like we're trying to put forward as a board. As an organization, like we've really struggled to get people in through like our various things. And so whether it be like our coffee chats, whether it be like our First Friday webinars, whether that be like our like last Monday, like all committee meetings like with Northwest Akuho, like we've really struggled to get people engaged and showing up. Does like anyone have any thoughts on ways like that we can like thoughts, initiatives of like things that we can do to kind of like boost that member engagement, to get people like one to know about it, two to like find time in their like schedule, three to block it off, and four to show up. Like there's just like a lot of just like I think just natural barriers that exist. I mean, because like all working in housing and residence life, we all know like that like you don't know what your day is going to look like. You think your day, like, you know what your day is going to look like, but stuff can like turn like on a dime and you're just like, oh crap, my day's all full with like handling a student crisis or like an employee crisis and like work, like helping people, like, just do like our day job, and finding like outside time outside of like our day job to show up and like participate like as a larger community.
I always like, I think somebody had mentioned it, right? The idea of incentives, like there's always a budget component to that, which is a whole separate conversation. But I believe coffee chats, there was like a gift card that may have been presented for the most, like whoever attended the most coffee chats.
The coffee chat gift card is like if you attend, you get put into a pool to potentially win a gift card for the quarter. It's like yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so maybe doing things like that to where, again, I don't know if it's $100 off of conference attendance or conference registration, right? Instead of maybe a Starbucks gift card, which that money is essentially going outside of our association, maybe we try to find incentives that somewhat are maybe self-serving, but maybe just as impactful of whether that's conference attendance or I don't know, something, right? That could be, but again, there's always kind of budget implications with that. I think some folks have talked about can there be Northwest Akuho merch that we we, sell or whatnot. But yeah, incentives sometimes seem like a universal way to get people to engage.
Yeah,
Like that makes a lot of sense to me too. And like I've been like doing some thinking too. Like we usually like the last Monday of the month we have like our Northwest ACUHO like all committees meeting, and like does moving that to like a Friday morning that like more in line like matches the time that we do like our coffee chats, so like in our other like Northwest ACUHO meetings, like does just like having that like all be like the same time. And so it's just like the first like like that each like Friday of like each week there's like something like Northwest ACUHO going on, and so people can like have their calendars more or less like blocked off for like and I think like we could do like different things different weeks of like having like 1 week be like new member engagement, have 1 week be like that like mid-level professional conversation, and I think we could use kind of like that standing time like blocked off potentially like on Friday mornings of like, hey, this is like something like that Northwest ACUHO is going to provide to our memberships, like and really kind of like have like that value of like that value proposition of like, why should I be a part of Northwest ACUHO? What am I going to get out of Northwest ACUHO? And just continually be able to like offer kind of like that like programming like every week of like, hey, we're going to have like something to talk about, and be able to communicate that to like our membership, to Megan's point, like in advance.
Well, it's 10:55, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time this morning. One, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us today. It's been wonderful being able to have a conversation around your feedback, strategic planning, and engagement. I do want to let everyone know that November is a wonderful month, and that we have 2 First Friday webinars. And we will have another webinar next Friday, same time. And it's in regard to presentation proposals. And so that's going to be presented by a corporate partner, Malum, and Kurt, who will be helping folks plan and prepare how to present an engaging presentation. So if you have colleagues or folks that are maybe planning or interested in attending the annual conference that is February 3rd through 5th in Seattle, Washington at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel, please encourage them to take an hour next week on a Friday and join us for that webinar. It'll be wonderful and exciting. And join us for our annual conference as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I hope you all have a wonderful Friday and great weekend.
Thanks, Ian and Jack, for hosting.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Take care.
See y'all.